have live breaking news for you, and I promise you, you're not going to get this anywhere else, especially the corporate woke network media. USAID, the same organization that you have these Democrats, aka hypocrites, as I like to call them, because they're all hypocrites, have been inciting literally violence. One representative saying, let's start a war and shut down the city. I'm not even kidding. Have you seen this?
Republicans, that we will not take this. We will fight back and goddamn it, shut down the Senate. We are at war.
I have to apologize. I'm so sorry. I know the audio was just too much to bear, but I just have a really quick question. Have the good guys ever been on the side of wanting more, bigger, more intrusive government? Sincere question. Let me know in the comments down below. So the biggest scandal ever, which has been discovered by our guy, Elon Musk, now the whole coordinated parroting talking points from all these ridiculous, lame, anti-American hypocrites is nobody elected Elon Musk, when actually that's really not true. President Trump has been rallying all over the country during the election cycle, saying that he was going to exactly do this very same thing, which was create a government efficiency program headed by Elon Musk to make the government more efficient so we could save money, so America can prosper. He's been saying this for months, if not longer. So you guys are all full of it. They're over there storming the Capitol, yelling, shouting, saying war, inciting violence. It's the worst of the swamp. And you have to ask yourself the serious question: why are you guys putting so much energy, so much of your time into defending something that has literally funded the most egregious things, wasting our taxpayer dollars time and time again in the hundreds of millions, if not billions? You have to ask yourself, why are they putting so much energy into that and so little energy, so little protestation into helping us? Into helping North Carolinians who are experiencing, still without a home, still without food, still without water, still without heat. How about Californians who suffered during the worst wildfire disaster in the history of the state, still can't even get access to their homes? And you're putting all your energy into this? Is that fair? Well, it gets even worse, my fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens in this nation, because today, thanks to Elon Musk, who deserves, I've been saying it many, many times, so many medals around his neck that he can't lift his head, Politico, known radical, extreme left-wing publication, for some reason, as soon as President Trump and Elon Musk defunded and stopped all federal payments to USAID, for some reason, they couldn't meet payroll. And then, after doing some digging, some research, we found this. So you're not going to believe this, but Politico, which actually is one of the, it's a terrible organization. It's a total radical left-wing organization, which has propagated the Hunter Biden laptop story. I'm going to show you a quick snippet of that as well. Was paid $8.2 million from 237 transactions. You can see that large decline in the graph, the line graph right there. As you can see, fiscal year 2025, it dropped almost 100%, practically 90%, to be a little more specific, because of what Elon and Trump did. Now, this is the real kind of crux of this. The real kind of crux of this is that what this money was spent on subscriptions, that were actually funded by us taxpayer dollars. And then to get even more specific, check this out. Politico received $622,000 of our taxpayer dollars on top of the $8 million for, you can see down there, the award description, online news subscriptions. How many to be exact? For only 37 subscriptions, my fellow Americans. Politico, LLC. Can you believe it? They're getting our taxpayer dollars, and they didn't disclose this. They didn't disclose this to the FCC. They didn't disclose this to the American public. There was zero transparency. They were essentially state-funded media, all propagated, all funded in order to try to stop, defame, deride, derail our president, President Trump, which makes our victory on November 5th, the mandate by a landslide, all the more powerful and revolutionary. It's just insane. If I get into that, I'll be here forever, but you know where I'm going. It was leaked, this email, Politico sending out this email to their entire staff saying, "Dear team, Goli and I want to address this morning's payroll issue directly due to what we believe to be a technical error." Yeah, that technical error's name is Doge, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Employees did not receive their paychecks as scheduled, yada, yada, yada. We're working to figure out this, all this BS. So with all the other egregious spending, transgender comic books, DEI operas, or what, or maybe I got those two reversed. I don't even know. There's just so many. You're also funding Politico and you're funding the BBC. Why are American taxpayers funding the BBC? Oh yeah, you didn't know that? They're also funding, USAID is also funding the BBC. But wait, as if that's not enough. I mean, I'm almost like I'm speechless. I'm literally me, Professor Nez, this guy right here in front of you, who's never at a loss for words. I think this might be the very first time in my broadcast career that I'm ever at a loss of words, because this is it's absolutely insane, my fellow Americans. As if that wasn't enough, you're not going to believe what I found today. I have no idea even what this is. Check this out. So you guys probably know Reuters, which is another media outlet that is not favorable and not impartial, but definitely not favorable to President Trump. But more importantly, is not impartial and objective as journalistic integrity is supposed to elucidate. They got funded by USAID, $9.1 million. And right in the middle of your screen, what was the description of that funding? What was it for? Something that is so creepy, scary, something that belongs in a science fiction museum, something that should make every single American's skin crawl. Active social engineering defense, LARG, which I have no idea what that is, E-scale social deception. It's a definitive contract. Our hard-earned taxpayer dollars, over $9 million, and that's just what's reported. God knows how much more it could be. It's probably a lot more. This is just what I could find. $9 million of our taxpayer dollars, while Americans can barely afford rent, barely afford the cost of living, barely take their kids to school, put the heat on, make sure that they have clothes, make sure that they can brush their teeth, they're clean, they can actually function in a society. We're all struggling. All Americans are struggling under this dark Biden, Kamala Harris regime. You guys are spending our taxpayer dollars just a little bit, not even all of it. There's so many more egregious spending. You're spending our taxpayer dollars on active social engineering? I mean, are you absolutely kidding me? I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. After doing a little more digging, I found out that this was a leaked contract which reveals that the Department of Homeland Security backed program, this was instituted, this whole social engineering through Thomas Reuter's special services, was all initiated to manipulate public perception. This is a newly uncovered federal contract shows that Thomas Reuters was awarded over $9 million for a secretive program labeled Active Social Engineering Defense Large-Scale Social Deception. The contract was issued by the Department of Homeland Security, and this is what we know. This revelation follows previous concerns about Thomas Reuters' deep ties to intelligence and law enforcement agencies. TRSS, a subsidiary of the global news and data company, specializes in high-level analytics and surveillance tools often used by government agencies for counterterrorism and national security purposes. These public records show that TRSS has been involved in contracts with the Biden-Harris government for years. Mayorkas, remember him, the former secretary? Thank God he's gone. Providing intelligence solutions, predictive analytics, and data monitoring systems. But this new contract, explicitly mentioning large-scale social deception, is like, I mean, the hairs on my arm are rising right now. This is a harrowing, scary shift toward potential disinformation and psychological psyops operations aimed at the public. My fellow Americans, this gives me zero pleasure to share this with you, but it is so abundantly clear that everything they keep claiming and fighting for, how dare you, Maxine Waters? How dare you, Pencil Dick Schiff? How dare you, Ratty Raskin and Ghetto Crockett and the whole lot of you? This is what you're fighting for while Americans suffer? You're fighting for more surveillance. You're fighting for more government waste. You're fighting for bigger government while we're suffering, while we executed the mandate on November 5th. How dare you? Tap the thumbs up. Right now, do it right now. It takes 2 seconds and it's free, and share this with everybody. The quote unquote active social engineering defense component, this suggests efforts to counteract social engineering threats. The quote unquote large scale deception wording indicates an initiative that may involve coordinated narrative control, online influence campaigns, and mass persuasion tactics. My fellow Americans, my fellow global citizens, Nez Nation, why does this matter? Thomson Reuters is known as a major global media and information provider, and it is now confirmed to be engaged in government-funded programs, just like Politico, and they're involved at mass deception at a global scale. Remember this? Politico reported back in the day, 4 years ago, Hunter Biden's story is Russian disinfo, dozens of former intel officials say. And who is their mouthpiece? Check this out. There she is, Jen Psaki, former White House press secretary for Joe Biden, now a complete fraud on MSNBC. Yeah, that's their mouthpiece. What have I been saying for years? The entire media apparatus, the woke propagandist media, which has been anti-Trump, anti-American, spreading disinformation willingly and knowingly for God knows how long. It is all over now. Thank God you, me, the American people have finally said enough is enough. We're not going to take your garbage. We're not going to take your lies. This should be the biggest story in the history of the world. And I dare you to find one mention of this on any of the networks. I dare you to find me one segment on ABC, CNN, NBC, CBS, all the woke platforms, MSNBC. I dare you to find me one mention of this. Let me know in the comments if you find any. I think this really says it best by Caroline Leavitt, who is another Grand Slam home run pick by Trump. Check this out.
I was made aware of the funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. And I can confirm that the more than $8 million taxpayer dollars that have gone to essentially subsidizing subscriptions to Politico on the American taxpayers' dime will no longer be happening. The DOJ team is working on canceling those payments now. Again, this is a whole of government effort to ensure that we are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. And this president and his team are making decisions across the board on, do these receipts serve the interests of the American people? Is this a good use of the American taxpayers' money? If it is not, that funding will no longer be sent abroad, and American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
And then this was just a mic drop moment for all you hypocritical, vile, anti-American, lame duck, useless, worthless hypocrites. Caroline Leavitt, take it away.
If you heard that type of violent, enticing rhetoric from our side of the aisle, from Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, I think there would be a lot more outrage in this room today. It's unacceptable, the comments that have been made by these Democrat leaders, and frankly, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because President Trump was elected with a mandate from the American people to make this government more efficient. He campaigned across this country with Elon Musk, vowing that Elon was going to head up the Department of Government Efficiency, and the two of them, with a great team around them, were going to look at the receipts of this federal government and ensure it's accountable to American taxpayers. That's all that is happening here. And for Democrat officials to incite violence and encourage Americans to take to the streets is incredibly alarming, and they should be held accountable for that rhetoric.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm just so impressed with her. I absolutely love her. Let me know if you love her too. I think she's doing a phenomenal job. Let me know in the comments down below. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know what you think of everything that I shared with you today. As always, check out these videos coming up on the screen just in case you happen to have missed them. Tap my face right there to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. Our free newsletter is also in the pinned comment and description down below. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.